Hey there, my name is Will and I'm on a journey to learn how to read and write ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. I'm sharing the process as I go, one illumination at a time, and I'd love for you to come along for the ride. So welcome then to Scribe Vibes. My main guide on this journey is How to Read Egyptian Hieroglyphs by Bill Manley and Mark Collier. But to help piece things together, I'm also pulling from a host of online resources, from Wikipedia all the way to digital scans of Gardner's Egyptian grammar. I'm no expert, just an enthusiastic explorer, figuring it all out one page at a time. Talking of pages, it's time to open up the notebook and get started. Page 2. Today, we're going to look at two different types of hieroglyph and how they might be written or read. So let's dive right in and see what we can do. Our beginner notion of a hieroglyph is probably best aligned with ideograms. These are the pictorial glyphs, which quite literally represent the object or idea which they are talking about. I mean that as well as sounding out a word, they illustrate it too. They are sound, meaning signs. For example, and this is an example from How to Read Egyptian Hieroglyphs, per, the house. The symbol delineates the shape of a house, its walls and its door. Perhaps even the fence line which surrounds it. And it also signifies the sound per. So altogether we get the complete word, per, house. Another example is this. The sparrow is a small and delicate creature, so is used to mean small or weak. This slightly more cryptic approach only works because the sparrow glyph also sounds out as neges, translating as small as well. It is important to remember that it is the sounds of hieroglyphs that count, not the pictures. On that note, let's take a look at another kind of glyph, phonograms. These glyphs, unlike ideograms, only suggest a single sound rather than a whole word. The hieroglyphic equivalent of the alphabet, for instance, is made up of such phonograms, each sound acting as a phonetic building block or letter-by-letter spelling. For an example of this, here is the To Reads. This glyph makes up the single consonant sound E or Y. And here is an owl, the sound or letter M. But how can we tell a phonogram from an ideogram, or vice versa? Any hieroglyphic word or phrase will be made up of a cocktail of the two. So context plays a big part of things, as does word order, and sentence structure, and all kinds of grammatical rules. The simplest way, however, is that an ideogram will often be indicated with a handy addition of a single dash behind or beside it. This dash points out that our intention is a bit more literal and a little less spelled out, and is also a handy indicator that numerically we mean one of these things, a single house instead of many houses. But to read a hieroglyphic word or phrase in its proper order, one must decide which way round it is facing. There is no set rule about reading left to right, or right to left. Hieroglyphs are as decorative as they are informative, and so the scribes and masons would put down what looked best. But the word facing is the key. We must look for faces, human or animal, and remember that glyphs will always look towards the start of a line. In other words, you should read towards the face. In this example, the word mechen, road, we can look at the face of the vulture, and knowing we must read towards it, read left to right. But alternatively, road might be written thus, and this time we can figure out that we need to read right to left. Sometimes, however, the glyphs will be arranged vertically. In these cases, we must always read top to bottom. And if two glyphs are next to each other in a block as part of the vertical stack, then our side-to-side rules apply once again. It is important that we learn as well that sentences are constructed in a specific way. A sentence will always follow the order of subject, object, verb. Luke, the force, use. Or in this hieroglyphic example, the scribe, for guidance, asks. The scribe asks for guidance. And I know how they feel, so I think on that note, that's a wrap for today's lesson. Thanks for joining me once again, and if you had fun or learned something new, then please give this video a like. If you want to keep following along, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next page in our notebook. Oh, and before you go, let's keep the pictograms going. Why not drop some kind of relevant emoji in the comments? Engagement for the algorithm god. I'm excited to see what you come up with, and I'll see you next time.